Despite some cracks forming in the party in the support of Donald Trump, Republican politicians are still mainly with the former president, at least when it comes to the public. Now, in private, apparently they can't wait to get rid of him, except they don't actually have a plan. Now, according to a report in The Atlantic, former GOP Representative Peter Meijer had told McKay Coppins, this is the reporter for The Atlantic, that had talked to GOP, different Republican Congress people, former and current. He said that, look, a lot of folks in the ranks of MAGA Republicans that are hoping for Donald Trump's mortal demise. Huh. Fun. Now, Meijer told Coppins, quote, while he's not in that camp, he has heard from a lot of people who will go on stage, put on the red hat, and then give me a call the next day and say, I can't wait until this guy dies. Good Lord, that is brutal. That is absolutely, just completely brutal. I do not think that I could imagine any Democrats saying, oh, you know what, I can't wait for Joe Biden to die. Holy crap. The right wing, they're vicious. Except, it's funny because while they are vicious in private, in public, they're weak little lapdogs. They are such cowards in public. Now, look, Coppins had spoken to about a dozen anonymous sources within the GOP. Again, current and former Republican lawmakers, as well as analysts. And, they're anonymous for obviously a very simple reason. They're afraid of Donald Trump. Of course. Of course they're afraid of Donald Trump. They're also afraid of his base. And so as a result, they're too cowardly to stand up to Donald Trump, who is, again, destroying the party. He's a two-time loser. Okay. Now, according to Coppins, the Republicans he interviewed said that one way to get rid of Trump is to simply wait and let him die. And they said, well, look, the guy, he's kind of old. He's getting a little up there, okay? And, he's got a very heavy fast food diet. Okay. I got bad news for you all. All right? Donald Trump, he's going to outlive a lot of these guys. I have no idea how, but I can just see it. Donald Trump, 97 years old, still going. You know why? Because some of the worst people end up outliving everyone else. It's beyond logic. Again, he eats the worst food, and I'm not saying that I don't, but he does. But he also believes that exercise literally takes life away from you, energy out of your life, as in like your battery. Like he said this before in an interview, that he has this battery, or everybody has this battery, and when you do exercise, it drains your battery. It makes you die sooner. What? No, the guy will live another 20, 30 years at least. Tops. He defies logic. Now, when asked about his opinion piece on CNN on Monday, Coppins said he was taken aback by how often he heard jokes about Trump's death from Republicans. I thought it was kind of a morbid, dark joke at first. But then I heard it so often that it started to become clear that this was actually what a lot of Republicans believed. And it just speaks of the desperation in the party. So, look.
Oh my God, he admitted.
They all did. They're all like, yeah, we kind of can't wait for this guy to just keel over. Any minute now. Come on, please, just free us. Free us, please. Come on. Come on. Let it go. Just let us go. Now, look, the most important part here is that this really shows how cowardly Republicans are. this is not the first story that I have talked about and that the press has talked about, where members of the press have talked to Republicans anonymously, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we hate Donald Trump. We hate that guy. Oh my God, terrible. Get this guy out of here. He's terrible. What a horrible person. Loser. Get him out of here." But and look, the establishment has always despised him, by the way, and that's because he ran as an anti-establishment candidate. Of course, the thing is that, while there is systemic corruption, obviously in the Republican Party, and of course you can also add and members of the Democratic Party as well, the corporate Democrats, there is that corruption, right, where they make money for their donors, and the donors pay them very, very handsomely in campaign contributions or legal bribes to help them get reelected, and they basically do anything the corporations tell them to. There's that corruption. Donald Trump, however, is a different type of corruption. It's personal corruption. So, instead of helping the donors, enriching the donors, he instead takes all the money and puts it in his own pocket. And that's the type of corruption that Donald Trump has been engaged in. Now, of course, the American people, it doesn't matter left and right. We all hate the corruption. It's just that Republicans, they're in this filter bubble where they don't see. I can't necessarily say that they don't see it from members of their own party, because I think they do. And they do see that there are corrupt Republicans that, take money from corporations and stuff. But when it comes to people like Donald Trump, the, so-called anti-establishment people, they actually believe them while completely missing and ignoring all the personal corruption that they're engaged in. So, but anyway, as I said, the establishment hates him because he's an outsider. But at the same time, they're simultaneously scared to death of him. I mean, Mitch McConnell is probably the biggest example of somebody who speaks out against Donald Trump. And yeah, it's very, very clear that McConnell despises him. But at the same time, they're going to back him. As simple as that. And that's it. That's it. And so that's why no one will stand up and fight against Donald Trump on the right wing. Very, very few people, I should say. Very few. It's because most of the party,
beta male.
That's what they are. To give you an example of this, I have a video here from Lindsey Graham, who went on Fox News to kiss Donald Trump's ass.
I know the downside of Trump, but let me tell you about the upside of Trump. There are no Trump policies without Donald Trump. And I'm telling your listeners right now, when you hear, I like Trump, policies, but I'm ready for somebody new, there are no Trump policies without Donald Trump. And to all these people who are very talented, I don't think you could do what he did, and I want him to have another shot.
Beta male. Beta.
Okay, so look, here's the thing, okay? Lindsey Graham is one of those cases where somebody comes out and tweaks Trump a little bit, right? He pokes his head up, and he's like, is it safe to criticize Trump yet? Is it safe? Is it safe? Oh no. Backlash? Oh, never mind. Donald Trump, I know the downside, but the upside, you can't have the Trump policies without Trump. So look, he made a political calculation. That's what Lindsey Graham does. Okay. He thinks Donald Trump is going to make a comeback, and there is, of course, that possibility, because we don't know what's going to happen. And the reason, of course, that Lindsey Graham is making this calculation is because he knows that the base still loves him. Of course. And he also knows the rest of the Republican Party will refuse to stand up and fight, because he's an example of that. So they're basically admitting, though, in this interview, that the only way that the Republican Party is going to get rid of Donald Trump is when he, shuffles off this mortal coil. And that's it. And they're again desperate to get rid of him, but nobody has a plan to do so, and so they do nothing. Now, Coppins also told CNN that some of his Republican sources, quote, clung to a long-held delusion that Trump would become a different person and bow out graciously and make room for the next generation of Republican leaders.
Can't let that happen.
That's exactly it. Laugh along with me. No, look, he doesn't care about the Republican Party. Donald Trump is using the Republican Party to do personal corruption for himself, to stuff as much money into his pockets as he can. And that's it. So, look, if he loses the nomination, he's going to go third party. And that's an example of this. It's according to recent polling from the Bulwark. According to that poll, 28% of Republican primary voters say that they will support Trump if he runs as an independent. Now, if that is true, well, then whichever Republican candidate other than Trump wins the nomination, they're going to lose the general election because Donald Trump has at least 28%, if this holds, of the base saying, no, we're going to destroy the Republican Party because we're going to back Donald Trump. And Trump has continued to hint that he will absolutely run a third party because he has no allegiance to the Republican Party. And as you can see, the Republican Party has absolutely no allegiance to him when it comes to the politicians. That said, they're stuck. And so it won't be a surprise to see a lot of these people that, again, are just waiting for Donald Trump to keel over, putting their red hats back on.